Well, welcome to the Speak with People podcast. My name is Jason Rates, and I'm so glad that you're joining us. It is 2023. Woohoo! Man, we are here. New year, new you. Like, are you ready for this new year, Dennis?
It's going to be good.
It's going to be good. Well, just like it was in 2022, 2023, this podcast exists because we believe words matter. And we believe healthy communication is oxygen for your relationships and your leadership. So whether you communicate one-on-one, on a team, from a stage or behind a screen, we hope that your time with us on this podcast will challenge you and encourage you to choose words that matter and to really embrace and elevate the importance and practice of healthy communication in your lives. Well, I am joined by my co-host, Dennis Poulette.
Hello.
Welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Do you have your goals all done? Are you ready for, all the things you're going to accomplish?
Yeah. We're hitting the gym. We're eating right.
We got it all.
We're reading the Bible.
Taking steps. Yeah, we're doing it all. It's going to be fantastic. Well, I want to go back in time. And the year was 1996. I'm a young leader. Very young at that point, 21, something like that, 22. And I find myself at a Dr. John C. Maxwell. I don't know if he was a doctor at that point, but a John Maxwell conference. And there's probably a few thousand people in the room. And I had been to conferences or things like that, but I'd never been to an environment like this. It was mainly business leaders and adults. All the stuff I had been to at that point was just kind of kid events, big, like loud and all that kind of stuff.
First adult event.
It was something, but it was at Cobo Hall, which was in downtown Detroit. And I'll never forget, he did all his and this was a long time ago, but he did his, leadership is influence. If you've ever heard that talk from John Maxwell, he did his 21 irrefutable laws of leadership.
Do you remember his stage presence? Do you remember the way? So when I saw him in college too, and the first time I ever saw him, he would go up to the monitor, the big monitors that used to have on stage, and he would put his foot up on the monitor.
Oh yeah.
And he would lean in and he would talk to the people and I was like, whoa, this guy is not like a preacher.
No, he just owned the room and you could just tell he was coming in. And I sat through those 2 days and it was like leadership, waterfall. And it was life-changing for me. What happened in my own life, my leadership, my own growth skyrocketed. I left those 2 days and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a leader. I have influence. I've got a responsibility.
I'm going to conquer the world.
I am. And so I'm, his whole talk that time, I still remember it, 1996, was about a personal growth plan. And so he gave us all the tools to write a personal growth plan. And I'm like, I can still remember how powerful that was.
And it all turned out exactly the way
it really did turn out. Of course, in 1996, I was still hoping I could try out for the Detroit Tigers and be their starting second baseman.
Or even their mascot.
That's
a story for another day.
It is a story for another day. I did try out to be the Detroit Tigers mascot. Didn't get it, but Detroit Tigers, if you're still interested, let me know. I don't live far from Lakeland, Florida, where their spring training facility is. But conferences have this ability to really inject a great amount of growth, inspiration, desire, learning. You can the creativity gets flowing. I have loved all of the different opportunities I've been to over the years, and they've been these highlight moments. I know conferences aren't for everyone. I get it. Sometimes people are like, I don't like the big. I'd rather grow it like a round table. I get all of that, but boy, they have just been, huge in my life. And that John Maxwell one, it was incredible.
Yeah.
But I had another experience about 10 or 12 years later that upped it. And it's tough to up John Maxwell. But one of my favorite communicators of all time, a guy by the name of Ken Davis. Ken was a speaker, comedian,
author.
I
used to use a Ken Davis book in one of the classes I taught.
Oh, I bet you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. How to speak to kids and keep them awake or whatever it's called, or dynamic communicators. Yeah. Such a great book. Well, he started this thing called the Dynamic Communicators Workshop. And I remember getting the pamphlet for it in the mail. And that's, before email, that's before, all that kind of stuff when, mail was like it. And I remember opening it up one day and as a a leader, a person who just has always communicated in front of people, like it literally like hit off every single radar in my being with excitement. I mean, I was just like, I gotta be at this thing. And I read through it all. I had read all of Ken's books. You know, I'd went to his events. I had listened to him speak. And then I was reading the whole thing, and I read the whole thing, and I get down to the very bottom. And this must have been like what, 2001. 2001. No, it was the year. Ooh, sorry. I hate to take this on a sad note, but it was the year the Columbine happened. Okay. Because I remember that because we flew into the Denver airport, and my buddy and I, Dr. Tom, we drove by Columbine High School. This is like 4 months after Columbine happened. And I remember watching all the Columbine stuff on TV thinking this was like this big, giant, sprawling campus. And then we get there, and it's just like a regular, everyday, small high school that was just, I mean, anyway, so that was,
So it was that year.
It was that year. It was that year.
Ken Davis.
I remember getting the pamphlet, sitting at my desk. I look at the very bottom, and it was $1,295. Now, in 2001, $1,295 was a lot of money for me.
That's still a lot of money.
It is still a lot of money. At that time, I probably only had two kids, 2001.
Oh, so
one kid. I only had one kid. I only had one kid. I mean, far from the five. What did I complain about with one kid? But I remember looking at that pamphlet thinking, how in the world am I going to be able to afford this? Like everything in my heart was like, you've got to be there, this event. And so lo and behold, some miracles happened. I found myself flying to Denver. We went up in the mountains, and they hosted at this beautiful location you're like way up in the mountains. And it was a 4-day conference. And every participant, you were put in a group of 8, and you had a coach. And Ken would do a main session, and then you would go back with your team, and you had to put together talks and present them to your team. And it was not for the faint of heart for people who were not ready to communicate. I mean, because everybody was like, hey, we want to be we love you, we believe in you, but we also want to help you get better. And what that conference taught me was what Howard Hendricks used to say all the time, evaluated experience is really the pocket where you want to be if you want to grow as a leader or a communicator. And so the John Maxwell conference was great, but the Ken Davis one, where I got to interact with people and I got to get, that constructive.
The practice makes perfect, but that's not true. Perfect practice makes perfect, or something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it was a cool experience.
It was a great experience
in Colorado.
So fast forward all these years later, and we started Speak with People, which is, we are a communication coaching company. And so we speak on one side. So, we take this message of Speak with People and Words Matter into, wherever they'll have us, really, honestly. And then we coach. And so we want to coach communicators, whether it's Speak with People, which is that kind of one-on-one, whether it's Lead with People, so you're leveraging your influence and how to do that in a healthy way. Present with People, which is just your delivery skills and becoming a better presenter, or Preach with People, becoming a more effective, empathetic communicator when you speak at churches. And so we have started a conference called the Speakers Conference in March. And our first one is March 21 to 23, 2023, because we just want to create an environment where speakers, communicators, leaders, they can grow, they can be inspired. And this conference will be intimate. It won't be that John Maxwell conference where there was thousands of people, and so you're going to really get, up close and personal with some of the speakers, be able to ask them some questions, get some really great feedback. And so we just wanted to take some time on this episode to hopefully inspire you to think about investing in your leadership and communication and why that investment really does matter. Bless you.
Yeah, thanks.
It really does matter.
I was just listening to I don't know if it was a podcast or an Instagram thing or whatever, but it was a pretty well-known businessman, and he was like, hey, if I was starting a business today and I only had X amount of dollars, the first thing that I would do is I would invest in myself. I would take the money and I would try to figure out how to get better at the thing that I was trying to do.
Yes.
So conferences, workshops, those kinds of
courses
things that would, invest in you so that even if tomorrow you don't have that same business, you've already invested in yourself and you've taken it, and you could take whatever you're going to do in the next thing and move even farther forward. So I think that's kind of what we're trying to talk about.
Yes.
That's what Speak with People exists to do.
Yes.
But even on like a hyper level, like taking it like crazy over the top is this conference.
Yes. Yeah. And you introduced me to, the wildly popular Alex Hormozi. Is that
I think that's
his last name, Hormozi. Yeah. And I remember listening to one of his videos where he talked about, this is the guy who went from he built his business from 0 to 100 million. And I think he's like 32, 34, something like that.
Yep.
But he just talked about how in those younger years, he would take all those dollars and invest. He's like, it's good that you're listening to me because I probably put $100,000 into investing in me. I bought the courses, I bought the trainings, I went to the conferences so I could learn everything I could to get to where I am right now. And I'm just so glad way back in 2001 that I fought and clawed and figured out how to raise that $1,295 to pay for the Dynamic Communicators Workshop. It's called the SCORE Workshop now, but it was huge in my life. It just incredibly propelled me forward in my communication. So our desire, we want to help leaders, whether they're at the very beginning of communicating, whether they, like just the other day, I talked to someone from a nonprofit who's their director of events. And, they were looking at communication coaching because their events are getting bigger and they want to be able to help more people and to communicate more clearly. And I was like, okay, come to the speakers conference. It's going to help you out. And so we thought we'd just give you the lowdown of the speakers conference because you have, 2.5 months to get registered and to be a part of this initial inaugural gathering.
Right. So who should come?
Who should come? If you are a leader, so you have influence and you communicate regularly in your life, in your role, in your position. So you stand in front of people from a stage and speak. You stand in front of a conference room and you deliver a presentation. If you have a YouTube channel, you have, you're doing the Instagram videos and you influence from behind a camera. So professions like real estate agents who are always pitching proposals and communicating to people, teachers, professors, sales executives, if you have to build a presentation and deliver it, ministry leaders, you're standing in front of people and speaking and teaching, that's just a huge one. A lawyer who's got to learn the art of communication and the craft of communication. It's kind of an endless scope, but really the leader who communicates, this is for you. This is for you.
Okay. So I can think of a whole lot of people that I know that need to be there.
Right. So can I?
How is it gonna help anybody? I know we want to be better.
Yep.
We want to do the better things. Yep. We want to get these people here. We're going to put them in front of, a lot of people that are doing
talk about them. Yeah.
But how is it going to help?
Yeah. I think the key really is a couple keys. One, we're going to talk through the Speak with People pathway.
Whoa.
Yeah. See, we built this whole company. We built this podcast. We built everything that we do on the foundation that we as leaders, as people, should speak with people, not at them. Speak with people, not at them. And really, that's because healthy communication is oxygen for our relationships. It's oxygen for our leadership. So if you want to succeed at work, get better at your communication. You want to succeed in your marriage, get better at your communication. You want to succeed as a parent, get better. Teacher, get better. And so why will this help me? Because we're going to walk through this pathway that we've been developing and that we'll continue to develop, that we've been reading and studying and researching for years, that will help you really communicate with people, because that's the difference of the Speak with People pathway. Lots of people get up front and they speak at people. Lots of people walk into a team meeting and they speak at their teammates. The difference is when leaders embrace the with, because you have embraced a level of emotional intelligence and a level of empathy that people are drawn to you. And so that's why we called the conference. That's why the theme is Lean In. Because we really believe. See, I'm getting so excited talking about this. It's so good because I've been there a million times, hundreds of times, speaking in front of an audience, and there's just a difference when all of a sudden you see them put their phone down, you see them stop
or pick it up,
or pick it up because they're going to take a note.
Yes,
and then they lean in. Like, I know this is going to sound super rude.
And lean in sounds better than eyes get wide.
That's yes. This is going to sound super arrogant, so I don't mean to sound arrogant at all. But I've been speaking in front of people long enough to where I know the difference when, say I'm speaking to a room of adults, and when, let's just say a 40-year-old male who is so engaged, they put their hands on their knees and they just lean in and they're just absorbing the information. Like, that's where life change happens. I mean, that's the power of it. So whether that's in a boardroom and you're delivering a presentation, a sales presentation, or it's in a classroom, or you're doing a seminar for a bunch of teachers, if you can learn that process to
it's almost like the gotcha moment. Like whenever you're up there speaking and you're watching the audience. I mean, you don't realize when you're in the audience, you don't realize that the person speaking is actually observing the audience, because a lot of people don't do that. But if you're doing it well and you're observing the audience, and at a certain moment, that you've got them.
Yep.
And like that's your lean in moment.
That's your lean in.
Maybe they don't physically lean in.
Yep.
But you see something happen, and okay, that person is definitely on board with what I'm selling, or what I'm telling them, or what I'm trying to get across. That message has hit that person's heart, and there's something's happening. Yeah.
And that's the first big, this is going to help me because we're going to grow in this together. I think the second big thing, 1 and 2 punch, is we really hope this 2.5 days together just helps recharge you and refresh you. I mean, there's a reason why we picked the Sheraton Sand Key Resort.
It's because you like it.
In Clearwater Beach. Well, I do, but who doesn't love it?
Yeah.
Sure. I thought about the 20-some years I, worked up north in Michigan and Illinois, and how I'd get to March, and I was just like, oh man, I just need warmth. I need the sun. That's why we did this, for leaders to be able to come down. I mean, there's the sunsets in Clearwater Beach are amazing.
Oh yeah.
And so I love the thought process. I've been to lots of conferences. I bet I've been to, dare I say 100 over 26 years, dare I say. I've been to some great locations, San Diego. I've done conferences in Pittsburgh, and Cleveland.
Hello.
Okay. That's beautiful. But I just love the thought process that before we start our day, if people want to, they can get their cup of coffee, they can sit, listen to the water. They could go.
You can do it during a session if you want.
If you really want to. Don't do it during a session. But you could walk the beach in the mornings, kind of clear your mind. There's outside the hotel, there's a pool and a fire pit, and so it's just. So we hope you're gonna
pickleball.
There is pickleball, but we hope you learn and you get refreshed, have some fun. So,
all right. So what else is there besides you got us with Clearwater Beach? So
yes.
What are we doing?
We got some so the sessions are going to be fun. And our speakers are going to dive into some specific areas on the Speak with People pathway. Then after each one, we're going to do a speaker panel. So you need to bring your questions. Like, you need to get your money's worth and ask these, people who have put in their 10,000 hours, right? You're an expert if isn't that what Seth Godin says? You put in 10,000 hours towards something. Like, ask them those questions. That's going to be a blast.
Yeah. And that's a good thing about it kind of being intimate too, is there's going to be, opportunities to interact with people. And
absolutely. You're going to have that time. So, other bonus stuff. So our speaker lineup, we were really, we just really thought through this long and hard. And so as we looked at all the different speakers we wanted to be a part of, Mike Goodwin, who was on the Speak with People podcast just right before, he's after, in January. He'll be in a couple weeks. Mike Goodwin is a, very, very accomplished comedian, speaker. He was on America's Got Talent. Talk about pressure. I mean, standing on the stage in front of Simon and Heidi and Howie and, that whole crew, millions of people watching you deliver your material. So he's really going to learn. He's really going to teach us. Albert Tate. I mean, for Pete's sakes, one of the finest preachers in America, I believe, in the world. And I have heard Albert many times. He has spoke at the Global Leadership Conference. He spoke all over the place. April Diaz, she's just an incredible coach, leadership expert, communicator. And then we've got a lot of great breakouts very practical ones that you'll be able to get, dive in. Dennis, you're doing a breakout.
I am.
You are.
You're right.
So I'm excited about that. So, we just have some great stuff. So yes.
The Jason Rates will be there speaking.
I will be doing a session or two.
I bet it's about the Speak with People pathway.
It might be about the Speak with People pathway.
Yeah.
It might be. But we got a great speaker lineup, intimate environment, beautiful location. So just a couple other fun things. So the first night.
Probably other people that are actually involved in kind of something that you do too. Like if you're coming to this thing.
Yes.
To me, that's one of the benefits of any kind of conference is
Yes.
getting to go and meet other people who are involved and networking with them. And, if you're a pastor, there will be other pastors there. If you're, a teacher, there will be other teachers there.
Yeah.
There will be people who kind of fit in your niche
or
your niche, depending on how you want to say it. And that way you can kind of connect with them and maybe even hash out some of the things that you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, real world kind of stuff. And what we hope is we're going to be able to begin to build a community from this. So there'll be a speakers conference Facebook group, and we'll kind of keep that community going as the years come for this. The first night we're going to do a luau. It's going to be under the lights,
So bring your grass skirt.
Bring your grass skirt. Bring your Hawaiian shirt. We'll have delays. We'll have the fun. I don't think we can do a pig roast, but we're going to do everything else.
There we go.
It's going to be incredible. We're going to do a picnic on the ocean for one of the lunches. I mean, it's just fun stuff, right? This is going to be great. So, and then for you get to walk the beach and enjoy that. We'll be able to sit by the pool, sit by the fire at night. And, but there are fun stuff like pickleball and tennis courts and, cornhole and, beach volleyball and all of those good kind of things.
Yep.
So,
lots of good stuff.
So we would really love for you to be a part of. We've negotiated a really incredible rate. I'm telling you, if you want a vacation in Clearwater ever, get signed up on our hotel rate because it's $600-700, at other hotels without our hotel rate. So March 21 to 23, 2023, we are coming around the corner, Clearwater Beach, Florida. So Tampa has a couple of great airports you'll be able to fly into. If you don't want to rent a rental car, we'll pick you up and drive you to the conference. We will. I know everyone, my whole team is like, we will. I'm like, yes, we will. It's going to be incredible. And we're just going to have a lot of fun. We cannot wait. We're going to grow, be inspired. Go to the speakersconference.com and get signed up. Bring someone, bring a couple people, invite others. Just absolutely can't wait. Anything else we should say about the Speakers Conference?
I think, it's just going to be a lot of not just fun. It's just going to be, I think it's going to be an investment in who you want to be.
Yes.
It's the beginning of 2023 right now.
Yes.
March is not that far. You're only a quarter in.
Yep.
So, it's going to be something that will probably mark your 2023 and the trajectory of what you're trying to accomplish.
Imagine what you can get to. That's profound. Those are good words.
You're welcome.
Make an investment in yourself. Be a part of the Speakers Conference. If you have any questions about the Speakers Conference, I'd love to answer them. Email me, jason@speakwithpeople.com. jason@speakwithpeople.com. But head to the website. We'd love for you to ask any questions. Well, again, like always, this was a great episode to start 2023. Thank you so much for being a part of the Speak with People family. This is a big year for Speak with People. And so thank you for being a part of the podcast. Every single download means the world. Every share on Facebook, every time you text your family or friend an episode means the world. And then would you start off 2023 with a bang for us and just go and leave us a review? You can go to Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you listen to this podcast. Leave a review. Everyone helps us continue to grow, and it helps us because our words matter. And when you embrace healthy communication, it's like oxygen for your relationships and your leadership, and your world will be better. The people's world will be better that you're speaking with and not at. So thank you so much. All the information for the conference and the company is in the show notes. And we will see you next week for episode number 2 of 2023. We'll see you.
Bye.